to MMAOB Daily Podcast, Monday, September 15th, 2025. Special edition of the podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. That's Big Marcel. We have a very special guest here today, the skyscraper himself, Stefan Struve, former UFC heavyweight, 25 fights in the UFC. Somewhat of a legend in my eyes anyway, Stefan. In my eyes, man. You had so many amazing fights. Welcome to the podcast, man. How's it going?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, everything's good. Just put the kids to bed. Madness. So time to decompress a little bit, do the podcast. So all good.
Awesome, man. I was going to ask you before I let Marcel take over. You're coming off an amazing win this weekend at Yochi UFC. You submitted Jose Medina. I don't know how you do it, man. You've met Dusko though, right? Like you've met him in person. You guys look like you guys are doppelgangers, man. Let's be honest.
I work some shows in Serbia now and then, and he comes to visit those shows, and he's a great fighter. I've known about him for a long time. I never really thought of him as my mini, but everybody says it, so it must be true, right?
No, I think, and he's a pretty good fighter. I know he was on a little tough run there. He had a really big win on the weekend. Obviously, probably saved his job. Let's be honest, but huge win for him. Marcel, what are you gonna say, man? I just figured it out, so we're good to go.
Yeah, man, I'm happy Stefan is here. For me, it's difficult because I'm normally always talking Dutch to him, so now I have to do it in English, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, I'm happy he's here, man. I mean, we all know how he fought in the UFC. He's the Dutchman with the most fights in the UFC.
Yep.
And now he's also working alongside with LFL. He's working for Eurosport, and he's a great analyst and commentator, man. And if I didn't think so, I wouldn't say that, but he really is, And I'm glad he came onto the podcast. So looking forward to talk some MMA and to hear some of his career stories.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to start, actually, Marcel. Like, what's the transition been like for you, Stefan? Because up till 5 years ago, you were one of the most active fighters in the UFC. Now you're not obviously fighting. You're doing the commentary stuff and like everything. Yeah. Marcel tells you every week, he's like, Stefan's on commentary. Stefan's doing amazing. So, this guy loves you, man. But how's the transition been for you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be doing that. And we actually next month we're gonna be in Vancouver for RDR's fight with Hernandez, and it's always great to be back with the UFC, and it really helps me to leave that chapter of my career behind and do this now. It's a lot of fun. I do UFC, I do LFL, I do some other shows, I do some work for PFL now and then. So lots of different kinds of work. Commentary, analyzing fights. So it's a lot of fun, and what I say, it definitely helps to not want to fight anymore. Just be around like that. It's good.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, there's some news on Twitter this morning that Fluffy Hernandez might be out of the fight. So RDR, Marcel actually told me before we came on just 10 minutes ago, they're looking for a new opponent for Reiner. So
man,
yeah,
I love that fight. That's horrible. That's
I know. I really know, because I think that the winner of that probably would have got the title shot, So and we'll see though. I mean, depending on who they get in short notice for Reiner, that he could still get the title shot, right? Because to be honest with you, like, I know Imavov, he had a clean performance, but I don't know if, like, I think that Reiner, if he has a finish, maybe he could actually surpass him and fight Hamzat next. Not that that's an easy fight by any means. It's a crazy fight, but we'll see what happens. But that's cool that you're going there, Stefan. I'm from Canada, so I'm on the other side. I'm in Toronto. Did you ever fight in Canada? I can't remember. Did you fight in Canada?
I fought in Montreal.
Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, you fought Sean McCorkle. That's right. Yes. I remember that. Yeah. That was co-main event. GSP
exactly. Yeah, because all the shit.
Oh my god!
All the shit he talked, and he talked us up to co-main event. That guy was crazy, but great experience.
Man, you destroyed him. It was like, I remember I had my friends over. We watched the pay-per-view. We beat him in like 2 minutes, I think, and by TKO, if I'm not mistaken, right?
First round, couple minutes, yeah.
Actually, let's just talk about your career, Stefan, because I mean, like, I really enjoyed watching you fight, man. You had so many good fights. Like, I was talking to him, Marcel, like a few weeks ago when we were talking about getting you on. Like, for me, the Denny Stoyanich fight, that bloody fight that you had, that was, like, for me, one of the most memorable ones. It was a crazy fight, man. You had a few of those comebacks, but obviously the big win would be Stipe, right? Like, in Nottingham, you finished him, and I think it was the second round. That's got to be
Yeah.
the biggest win of your career, right, Stipe?
Yeah, and it only got bigger and bigger
Yeah.
when time went on, of course, because all the things that he did. And for me, that was it was the last fight before my health issues started with my heart, and it was really the last fight in my career where I fought free, where I didn't have that in my head and
Hmm.
I wasn't on meds for my heart and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that's the biggest win, but also the victory over Nogueira in Rio. Although it was his last fight and he was past his prime, still fighting him in Rio.
That's pretty cool.
Absolutely incredible experience. So yeah, a number of great fights come to mind when people ask me about my favorite fights. The Stoyanich fight in Cologne, of course, the bloodbath, and then the 15-second knockout over Bigfoot in the Netherlands with the UFC's debut over here. So yeah, I had lots of fun. So, but it
Absolutely.
wasn't easy.
Marcel, what was your favorite fight from him, from Stefan?
I mean, the one with Christian Moorcraft was a fun one as well.
Moorcraft.
Where
Oh,
I think the first round,
that one was fun, man.
the lip,
Oh,
and then you knocked him
Uh,
out with the exchange in the second round. I think. Um, yeah.
that was awesome.
I think it wasn't fun for you, maybe because of the
oh
lip,
man.
but yeah, but it was a great comeback, dude.
I still have so much scar tissue in my mouth from that fight, dude.
Oh
That
man.
one, oh geez, that guy was strong. That and from people that trained with him and that lived in the same area before I fought him, they were convinced that he was gonna, maybe become heavyweight champ or whatever. And of course, I knocked him out, and I don't think he ever fought the same after that. But
Yeah.
him coming in that fight, the way he came in that fight with me, man, he wanted to freaking kill me, and he had no fear in him. That guy was so probably just one of the strongest guys I fought physically. He was over 300 pounds, I think, on fight night. And man, I walked into him a couple years later. That guy is freaking tank. The guy's huge.
I'm just looking in the chat right now, Steph. We got a bunch of people. They're all really happy to see you, by the way. Everyone, like I said, everyone's a big fan of
Appreciate it.
you. Someone asked, well, who's the hardest hitter you fought in your career? Because you fought some heavy-handed guys, man. Let's be honest.
Man, it's difficult to say because yeah, so many in the heavyweight division when you get caught the wrong way, you get caught the wrong way.
Yeah,
Um, Probably the hardest punch may be the Nelson fight, but also it was so early in my career, and I was so young at that point. And
for sure.
looking back, those guys came too soon for me at that point, and it was hard to get past that, to lose against JDS and Nelson the year after like that, and then still make a good career in the UFC to overcome that. It wasn't easy.
For sure. You mentioned that the heart issue. Was that the same thing that the fight with Matt Mitrione, I think was UFC 175? Was that what happened there? Was it can you talk about it a bit? Like what exactly the issue was, or
Well, that was my first fight back after all that stuff and going through a hard period of time because when I was out with the heart stuff, my dad passed away and like a lot of things happened. So coming back also after it was after the Mark Hunt fight, and the fight before that was actually the Stipe fight. So and
jeez,
the Mark Hunt fight, if I would have won that fight, I was very close to a title shot. But I was sick in the weeks leading up to the fight. But I thought I would recover and feel good enough to fight and win the fight. But my body just quit on me in that fight, and I didn't just lose that fight. He broke my jaw, and man, not sure if people know that story. It's a good story to tell, but it was in Japan. I broke my
hmm,
jaw, and things weren't really set up the way they should have been after the fight. Dana was really pissed about what happened to me. So they picked me up with an ambulance after the fight, but it was an open fracture in my mouth, so it was bleeding really bad. So I was in the back of an ambulance for about 2.5 hours until I got to the hospital. And they didn't want to do the surgery in Japan, so they put it together and put some sort of braces on my teeth to keep it in place. They flew me back home, and we had a surgeon ready to do the surgery on Monday or Tuesday when I got back to the Netherlands. But then they wanted me to test for MRSA bacteria, and I did the test, and every single day they told me we'll call the next day, but if we won't call you before 12, surgery will be moved till the next day. So I was at home for 9 days with a broken jaw.
Jesus.
And so then they finally did the surgery, but yeah, it was just a horrible experience. So,
Yeah, no, I remember
but
that fight. Obviously, that card too. Right after you, Brian Stan and Vonderlei Silva. That was a crazy card. You know, the UFC doesn't
yeah,
even go to Japan anymore. But I think like that's one of the hotbeds of MMA. You know, you fought all over the world too. Like obviously,
yeah.
you're from Netherlands. You fought like you mentioned Canada, Japan,
Yeah,
USA, Brazil.
before I
Jeez.
got to the UFC, I fought in a lot of different countries as well.
Yeah.
Fought all over Europe. So definitely seen the world because of that.
That's got to be one of the best parts of being a UFC fighter, though, right? Like going around the world and putting on your trade for everyone to watch. Win or lose. That's meeting new people, new fans all over the world. That's got to be one of
And
the
it was a great experience for sure. And especially now that I'm retired, I
yeah
started to realize that more and more that when you're doing that, training every single day and
yeah
fighting as much as I was fighting, because I was really active, as you said,
oh yeah.
it's not always fun, man. It's a lot of hard work, and especially after a loss, it can be tough physically and mentally. But yeah, definitely looking back, it was a lot of fun to experience all that.
Are you still training at all, Stefan? Or are you just like you said, your dad? You have two kids now, so
Yeah.
are
No,
you still
I
training
still
or
train right
okay?
now, and my son just turned 5 last week, so they're 3 and 5 right now. So
Awesome.
it's crazy, it's madness. I love it though. It's not always fun, but it's
No,
I
I
love
get it.
them. I'll do anything for them. But yeah, busy man with a lot of things, and just trying to stay in shape. I teach twice a week, and then I train with the guys. So I do some technique, and then the last 45 minutes we grapple, we wrestle, and I want to train a little more, but right now I got so much going on, so trying to get it all done. Who's vacuuming, man?
That's definitely not me, man.
What
Maybe
is
it's
that?
Marcel. It could be Marcel. It's definitely not me.
Probably my computer, but yeah.
I thought it was you, Stefan. I didn't want to say anything. It's definitely not
I
me
want to
though.
see your I want to see your computer now. Like it's like
It's not that
one of those
big.
old ones.
That's a little bit older, yeah. I think that's a problem. So yeah, I'm
No
sorry,
worries.
man.
Someone had joked in the chat that someone was like, there was an F1 race going outside someone's house right now.
Jeez.
Anyways, yeah, Marcel, I don't know what's going on, but it's all good. I'll let Marcel talk, but I was going to ask you one more thing. So you were heavyweight. So we always joke around. We have a bit of a running gag going with Mick Maynard. Marcel can do the Mick Maynard accent here, but was he your matchmaker? I guess for the end of your career, was it Mick?
Yeah, yeah. When in the beginning it was Silva,
Okay.
and then Mick came. Mick's a great guy, man. I
Yeah, that's
really
what
like
Marcel
him.
tells me all
He's
the
a
time. He
good
said he's the
dude.
best one, like
So
of all the matchmakers. So
yeah, no, my interactions with him were great, and he always listened,
yeah,
and he gave his opinion sometimes, but it definitely felt like you know talking to him, it felt like he knew where you were coming from. Like he didn't try to push fights on you, and really did his best to make things work for everybody. He works for the UFC, of course, but when you treat people that way, it definitely is a nice feel.
Marcel, you got to do the Mick Maynard impression for Stefan. Now that he's here, though. Come on, you got to do it for him. Do it, do it, do it.
I'm always doing like because Mick is always pushing the heavyweights, Also, like the heavyweights who are outside of the top 15. So I'm always like, "Hey Dana, it's Mick Maynard here. I have some great heavyweight opponents who can fight each other. Maybe we can do Mario Pinto. He is a great guy. He's still undefeated. Let's put him against Janada Denise. It should be a great fight for opening the main card, fighting for KO. Let's do that, Dana." And Dana is like, "Fucking awesome, man. Let's go." It's like that.
We
But
love it.
Stefan is also really good in doing the Kai Asakura pronunciation. Now we're doing pronunciations.
It's not me. No, it wasn't me.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marcel. You can ask Stefan. I've asked a bunch. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's now with a lot with Eurosport as well, doing the analyzing and stuff. And
Yep.
I always wondering, like, is it also because you do a lot of analyzing, it's easier to keep up as well with the sport, Because like when you're fighting, you're keeping up with the sport, obviously. But when you're stop fighting, maybe it's a little bit like, how do you say that? It's more tough to keep up with the sport. And now with you doing the analyzing stuff and
Yeah.
doing the stuff for Eurosport, LFL, PFL, it's also like, I think it's very fun as well, to look at from the other side of this perspective. Plus, you have like the actually experience to fight yourself.
Yeah, no, 100%. In the beginning, when I was just retired, I didn't watch UFC or MMA a lot. I needed a break from that, but I definitely enjoy, the career I'm having right now. And there's just so much going on, man. So much MMA, and especially with what I'm doing, UFC, PFL, LFL, then some other local things through Europe. But yeah, you have to keep up to date. If you want to do the job the right way, you have to pretty much watch everything. But I enjoy it. I love doing what I'm doing right now, and yeah, it's for me to probably the best next step. Being able to move on from fighting, doing these things.
So me and Adam are always talking also about the heavyweight division. We think like, and definitely me thinking this is that the heavyweight division isn't as good anymore as it was a couple of years ago. I think like maybe the top four, the top five making pretty decent and good fights, but like a lot of these guys, yeah, I don't know what to think about it. What is your opinion on it, and where would you see yourself if you were still active in the heavyweight division right now?
Man, I definitely think there's a lot of good fighters in the heavyweight division. They're just not very entertaining, a lot of them, and they don't. A lot of them aren't very athletic. They don't have a fun fighting style, I think, and it's a shame. There are some fun new additions, but definitely, also with the division being stuck, I think that's part of it. Also, why you guys look at it that way. If the division would have moved on, I think we would have seen more fun fights. But it was so stuck the last couple of years. So I really hope that with Tom and Cyril fighting, the training is going to keep on moving. I think that especially if Tom wins, he's gonna want to fight every 3-4 months, clean out the division, and I hope that what happens to the division is the same thing that happened to like the featherweight division, the middleweight division, when Adesanya and Volkanovski were on their streaks a couple of years ago. We were saying those divisions are cleaned out. There's nothing left to do for them. But look at the contenders they have right now in front of them. So we definitely need new blood, and you never know what happens because Ngannou came out of nowhere. We need new blood, and
Mhm.
of course, it's hard to find fighters like that, man. Like just incredible specimen, of course, but it's definitely possible, and I'm hoping that will happen. Some new exciting fighters in that division.
I mean, we recently saw like Mario Pinto coming over from LFL as a champion, and now Louis Sutherland is going to make his
Yeah,
debut next week in Perth. What do you
he's
expect from?
fun.
Yeah, what do you expect from Louis? I want to know.
Man, he's a fun fighter when he really goes for it. But he's also had a couple fights at LFL that were a little lackluster. But when he goes for it, man, I think that he understands fighting in the UFC right now. He's got the skill set to make every fight fun, but it also means that you will maybe lose a fight or two fighting that way. You know what I mean? Taking risks. But when he takes risks, man, he's fun to watch. He moves forward. He's got power. He's got personality, which is very important, of course. But I see him doing well, and I definitely see him getting in the top 15. And I'd be I'm curious to see him against like top five till top 10. See how he does against those guys because I think he's a tough opponent for everybody in that division from 5 till 10 for sure. So.
Someone in the chat was asking. We talked. Mark Still did the Mick Maynard thing, but someone was asking about Joe Silva because I think you said you worked with him at the beginning of your career. Any like was it? We've heard some bad stories about Joe, but obviously he's in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. So any like stories you could tell from you and his interactions?
No, he was always really happy with me because I was always wanted to be active, and
Mhm.
I pretty much never said no to a fight. So I think the first fight that I had to cancel or had to say no against was the rematch with Dos Santos in, what was it, 2017? Because I had to get shoulder surgery. Before that, I never said no. So
Okay.
I was easy to deal with.
Yeah.
I was always ready. So no, I don't think he ever really, had an issue. I never really had an issue with me because also the way I fought, he was really honest.
Mhm.
But with Marcel, no, you probably know by now. People from the Netherlands are pretty honest with the way they say things. So if you had a bad fight, he would come at you and be like, you have to perform a little better the next fight. Yeah, no shit, no shit.
That's crazy. I was actually looking at your record the other day, and the amount of bonuses you won, man. I think I counted like you won like $400,000 worth of bonuses or something. Like you fucking crushed it, man. You were
Yeah.
submitting guys, knocking guys out. Fighter pay is a big issue these days. In your opinion, like were you paid fairly during your time in the UFC, or like how did you feel about your pay when you were actually a fighter?
Um, well, I was very young when I got to the UFC. So in my what was it? In my third fight, I had my first bonus, which was 65 or 70K, and
That's pretty
that
nice.
was that was in Staples Center when I fought Chase Gormley. I was the first fight of the night, and I hit him with a mounted triangle. And at that point, because now they have performance bonuses, right? So performance of the night. At that point, it was knockout of the night, submission of the night, fight of the
Hmm.
night.
Hmm.
And all night long, like I was hoping nobody would get another submission. And what was it? I think Gleison Tebow fought, or someone like almost hit like a flying armbar, and I was like losing my shit in the locker room, but he didn't get it. But yeah, man, just thinking about that, first fight of the night, and then I was 21 getting
Jeez.
a 65, $70,000 bonus check. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? That's a lot of cash. But when you look at the numbers now, and I think everybody knows about the antitrust
Yeah,
lawsuit
of
going
course.
on. When you look at those numbers, like I definitely feel that the fighter should have gotten
Yeah.
more, and
Yeah.
that's why those suits happen. And but it is what it is. At the same time, the UFC did a lot for the sport. They built the sport to where it is right now. If they didn't, do the things they did, like we don't know where the sport would have been. But I think they definitely should have shared more revenue with the fighters, and they still would have been fucking crazy rich.
No, for sure. And you know what? I was going to ask you about that because recently, I don't know, you probably saw it. Hanato Macanio, he's like, I'm not taking the money from the UFC. I don't want it. I'm assuming you took your check though, right? You must have,
Oh
right?
fuck yeah!
I
Come
know.
on.
Why wouldn't you, right? Like, can you?
I
I don't know if you can even tell us how much it was, but like, was it a decent amount of money or what?
I haven't received
Okay.
my check yet, but I think I'm getting it this month. So,
Okay.
but looking back, also with all the bonuses I got,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a pretty probably nice payday. I'll
So
tell you that.
like, are you set up right now for your like? You obviously are still working, but like you have a home. You said like you have a couple kids. Like, are you set up like decently financially at least, or
Yeah, I don't have to worry about
good?
anything, but
Good.
I can do pretty much everything I want. But
Good stuff.
especially if you think about my career, I was in the UFC for what is it, 12 years. If you fight for a professional organization for 12 years or do any sports for a professional organization, especially where the UFC is right now, you should be financially independent, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
There should be
So
no doubt. So,
someone in the chat just it kind of cracked me up. They said, what age did you hit your growth spurt? Because I know you have a brother too. He was also a massive guy as well. So like, did you guys
uh,
both come out 7 feet tall for your mother's womb, or like when did
no,
that happen?
he's I think he's like 6'7",
Okay,
but I was pretty young when I hit my growth spurt, probably like
okay,
15 or 16. So, and I fought at middleweight at
that's
that
that's wild,
at
man.
that height at first. Yeah, crazy.
Did you ever think about playing basketball, or did you ever play a bit when you were a kid?
It wasn't very big back in the day in Netherlands, and it still
Yeah.
isn't, which is crazy because we're the tallest people in the world. But
I know.
no, I like soccer better, and
Fair enough.
it yeah, fighting came on my path. So.
Well, I mean, you're good at it, so yeah.
And he backs the good team as well. So shout out, Stefan.
The team right
Got a
behind
good
your head,
background.
Marcel. That team.
Yeah.
Yes, that team. Yeah,
That team.
There you go. Yeah, that's crazy. Marcel, anything else you want to ask Stefan?
I mean, not really, man. I mean, I talk sometimes to him, but it's
I
in
know
Dutch,
you guys
like
are
I
good
said.
friends.
So yeah,
We talk a lot of smack.
yeah.
I talk a lot of smack to Marcel too.
Bro,
It's fun.
I always bring up I actually forgot this week, you had that Cedricus Dumas against Zach Reese fight. So I should have asked to Stefan how it felt back to think about the Rothwell fight.
When he
That's the thing.
when he got Rothwell,
Yeah.
I think that was the $120,000 kick in the nuts for me.
Oh man. Actually, let me ask you that. Like, what are some rule changes you'd like to see in MMA? We obviously see a lot of like eye pokes these days, and the groin shot on the weekend obviously had the no contest. But what are some rule changes? Like, I think me and Marcel we bitch about the judging all the time. We think it's awful. But what are some things that you'd like to change?
How are we going to change that? Because
I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Like we've talked
it's
about
really
maybe
difficult.
doing 5 judges instead of 3. Maybe that would eliminate some of the bad scorecards. But even then, these
Inconsistency.
people aren't going to pay for 2 more judges. Anyway.
Inconsistency is annoying, man. Sometimes they're looking at this, sometimes at that, and the fighters themselves don't even know where the judges are looking at. So
you know more than us, Stefan. You were in the
Yeah.
cage, like I said, like you had like 40 fights or something. So, like,
Yeah,
what
not
are
a
some?
not a lot of decisions though.
No, not many,
So-
not many. What are some changes
No,
you'd like to make though, as far as the rules?
I was always really annoyed with need to a down opponent, but I think the rules are changing for the
Sure.
better with that, and it was just always really weird to watch because
Mhm.
people would put themselves in positions where they would be vulnerable, and MMA is as close to a real fight as you can get, but I would always get really annoyed by the things they would do, and not being able to attack with the knees, and I think the rules have improved. With I'm not sure if they need to go to pride rules with the knees.
I'm good with that. I love Pride, so I'm good with it, man. Bring back the
Yeah, me
soccer
too.
kick.
But like, still, it's I'm not 100% convinced about that, but I definitely think those rules have improved, and that was pretty much one of the things that I was always really annoyed by.
I was always like with the pride rules, it's like because of you can't pretty much at pride you cannot shoot a sloppy takedown, because if you shoot a sloppy takedown and you get sprawled, you get kneed in the head, and the UFC you can't do that. But at the same time, I think it would be better, but maybe like the soccer kicks were fun and the foot stomps, but maybe that's not a great thing to get that back, maybe. But I think the knees to the head would make sense on the ground, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think that for where MMA is right now, that may be a bit too much with the soccer kicks, and it definitely it would change the fight, and certain situations wouldn't happen as much. But especially up against the fence, when you are standing up, like you should never be able to like put your hands down and not be able to be kneed or kicked in the head. Once you're in that position, like when you're on the ground, like I'm okay with guys not being able to kick you in the face, foot stomps, and the knees. Like if you are able to throw knees, I'm not 100% sure about that. If I want to have pride rules for the knees, but it would definitely change some situations for the better. It would be a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I ask one more? With weight misses, like we saw, like Calvin Gastelum missing weight 5 pounds this weekend.
He's looking huge, man. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what he's doing. Like he's
He's gonna be a heavyweight
giving
soon,
up
man.
on diet, man. Like he's just doing whatever he wants. He's gonna go to light heavyweight soon, 100%.
But what do you think should be like the punishment? He got 35% of his purse taken, but should there be like a different punishment? Should there be points taken before the fight? I mean, what is your thought about it?
Good question.
Yeah, I think definitely when when you take points before the fight, plus the financial penalty. But man, like everybody saw his picks from weigh-ins before the fight, and I don't even think he's trying. You know what I mean? Like, but there should be a bigger punishment and taking a point away before the fight or two, so that the only way you can win is by knockout
Yeah.
or submission. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Just looking at, we had a few questions here from the fans, Stefan. Someone asked, are there any fights that were discussed behind the scenes that ever got made, such as maybe fighting Kane, Shane Carwin, or Frank Mir, someone like that? Anything that you could talk to us about, like some fights that never materialized?
Well, I just mentioned I had to cancel the rematch with Dos Santos
Yep.
because of a shoulder surgery, and then later that year I fought Volkov. But I don't know what Mick Maynard was thinking, but he wanted me to fight like 2 or 3 months before that fight. He wanted me to fight Ngannou, so fuck him for that. Hell no. But yeah, that fight didn't happen. But I was injured, so I had a good apology for that. But
Was
yeah,
you also training
I
together back then?
yeah, I
Yeah.
just trained with him the year before for what is it, like 6 weeks or so. Like he was in Florida, he was still looking for a team. He went to Vegas. He went to train with us. It was still Black Zillions at that point, I think. But I trained with him, and it was a lot of fun. But of course, that silverback was wearing 18-ounce gloves, and he was taking it easy on me. So like, you don't want to fight that guy with the small gloves, man. Like, come on. Hell
Someone's
no.
asking about when you fought. You mentioned it already, Big Nog in Rio. I
Yeah.
went to Rio for a fight once. Man, it's fucking crazy. Those fans are nuts. So how was that? Hearing that chant, they're gonna kill you and whatever. They want you to die. How was that?
To be honest, like they were really respectful with me. Also because I showed a lot of respect for Big Knock, of course, and I
Mhm.
don't think I said a bad word before the fight about him. He's an absolute legend, and they appreciate that. But still, before the fight, yeah, ufa more. But it was a
That's
lot of
it.
fun, man. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like, and I at that point I didn't know it was going to be his last fight, but he yeah, walking out and then getting ready to go to the octagon. He was standing there with his brother, with Anderson Silva, and like a bunch of other big stars from that team from back in the day. And oh, it was just a huge moment for him for me to fight him in Rio. It was incredible. I always wanted to fight him, but being able to fight him in Rio was extra special.
And someone else was asking, like, what was your favorite place to fight? You can't say Netherlands because I would assume that's number one.
Yeah, no, it was great for sure. Man, I fought in so many different countries, different places. It's hard to say which one's my favorite because I fought in South America, the U.S., Canada, all over Europe.
Hmm.
Um, it's
I'm
really
just
difficult for me.
I'm just glad you don't mention Australia.
I knew it was coming.
I know me.
I don't know why do you do a show with him, man.
Dude, I've
Some
told many times
bullshit.
we're gonna replace you with another co-host here, Marcel. You're
I
gone,
don't know.
buddy.
I'm not sure if you know. I never fought in Australia, so
There you go.
Okay, that is it.
That would have been cool though. That would have been pretty cool. You were, I think you retired right after the Tai Tuivasa fight. Was it? How did that work? Did they release you, or did you just tell them you're done? How did that work?
no, they actually reached out, asked me when I wanted to fight again.
Okay.
They knew I had some issues because the reason I retired about what was it 4 or 5 months before that fight, I had an ear infection which damaged my vestibular system in my right ear and also the hearing nerve. So from one moment to the next, I was pretty much deaf in my right ear. Plus, like the moment it happened, I was just sitting on my bed and like I couldn't really hear anything anymore with my right ear. So I called the doctor, told him that I would probably have to get my ear cleaned or whatever it was. You never, you don't really think about something crazy going on in your ear, of course.
Yeah.
And then at night, I woke up and I tried to get up because I was nauseous because of all the things that were going on in my head. And then I couldn't get up because my eyes were spinning and like I didn't know what was going on. At first, I thought there's something wrong. I may have a brain bleed or whatever, but it was the vestibular organ in my right ear that was inflamed, and so for about a week I could barely walk. Like I had to hold myself up against walls, and every single time I would sit up, my eyes would be spinning. Every single time I would lay down, my eyes would be spinning. It was a really really scary thing, and it was getting better, but then for the fight, Ty caught me with like a shot that normally would have been nothing to worry about, but immediately like my it was like it's like you are it's different than being rocked because it's like fighting in slow mo, like, and it's like you look to the left, but your body is still catching up because the signals are not really reaching your brain. It was really crazy thing, and a really loud noise in my right ear immediately as well. So when that happened, I took some time off, and I 6 weeks before my fight, my son was born. So after that happened in that fight and losing that way, then I decided a couple months later that was it. That
Yeah.
like, because I went back to training, and every single time, even with like a just a small shot today or whatever, like that noise will come, right? It still does when I bump heads. I immediately feel it because this side's just not working anymore. So that was it.
You're done, right? Some people are asking, like, is there still a comeback? You're done, right? Like you're done for good.
It depends on who's writing the check and how
Yeah, I
much
know,
is
right?
on it.
That's the thing. Would you ever
Like,
consider doing like boxing or something? A lot of these guys are going to boxing for big paychecks. Ever thought about that?
uh, how big is the paycheck?
I don't
Like,
know how much they're making, but
and also, why would someone write me that paycheck? I got some offers from Russia to do stuff like that, and they would pay me in cash, stuff like that. And we've had some people reach out asking if I'd be interested fighting in Eastern Europe, Poland, some other countries. But yeah, things never really got far enough for me to be like signing a contract or whatever. So I don't know who would be paying me that amount of money to see me again. Like, if you're out there, please
But,
reach out. I may be open to it if it's enough, but no, I don't think so.
but
fair
what
enough.
about like submission grappling or anything like that? BJJ. I mean, you are known for your solid and great ground game and your submissions, pretty much. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'd be open to it, but depends on who the opponent is. I had some offers to fight some really high level grapplers, like some of the best in the world,
yeah,
and there's just no reason for me to do that because
yeah,
those
I
guys
understand.
are so good. The elite grapplers. Like, there's, I think it would be fun to grapple some other former UFC heavyweights, some other, former MMA fighters, big names. That'd be fun.
Sure.
But
I mean, you talk to Dana when you go with Eurosport, so you can ask him like, "Hey, Dana, put me on the BJJ card," with
yeah,
another former UFC fighter. I
yeah, I
mean,
don't know.
let's get the ball
I'm not
moving.
really following that too much. I don't know if they really do like former fighters against each other. I know they have some really good grapplers signed to their
Hmm.
BJJ, but I'd be open to that for sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
one of my favorite fights with Stefan, actually, or moments I should say, because it wasn't much of a fight. When you fought LeVar Big Johnson on that heavyweight card, you just that jump was
Yeah.
a flying arm bar, I think, right? Like that was
I
amazing.
tried it. I went for it. I went for a flying armbar, but I had to adjust, and then
That was
then I had
incredible.
to. I got the armbar from guard, but
Yeah,
I wanted to get that flying armbar.
that
Flying
would have been
armbar in
amazing.
every division.
They gotta start doing that again, though. I thought that was super cool that they had the 5 heavyweight fights in the main card. Obviously, you had Kane, Bigfoot, Frank Mir was
Yeah,
on there.
but
GDS.
what you guys just said, I think the heavyweight division was a lot
Yeah,
more fun. I don't
it
think
was.
necessarily the fighters are good now. I
Yeah.
think there's some really good fighters, but they're just not a lot of fun to watch.
Actually, you
The
know what?
way
This
they
is a really
fight.
good segue into one of the last questions I had for you. PEDs is how prevalent do you think it was, especially when you were fighting? How like were a
Oh
lot
man,
of yeah,
like pretty much everyone was on it,
yeah,
and well, it's easy for me to say I wasn't on it. I never taken anything in my life, but for me, hearing the stories from people I trust, like a lot of guys were on it.
yeah, on the gear for sure. And you
Yeah.
can just look at them. Like you look at I mean, your fellow countryman, Alistair Overeem, he got caught for it, right? Like you look at the guy
Nah,
and
he was
no,
clean.
oh yeah, for sure. Just horse meat. It was just horse meat. That's what you guys eat in the Netherlands, right? That's all it was.
Yeah.
Last question I had, and then I'll let Marcel finish up. But last question I had, Stefan, what's one piece of advice you'd give to a fighter of today? What would one thing that you've learned during your career in the sport that you tell a young fighter coming up right now?
Like someone who's coming up or someone who wants to be a fighter.
Someone who's coming up, someone's doing the sport already. They want to make some money for themselves and become a name like you.
Um, for these guys, man, I always, the thing I tell people the most is you got to do this because you love it, and have passion for it. Not because you want to make a lot of money, because I'm still not sure if, there's only a few people that will make a lot of money in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think things are getting better and better, but do this because you love it, and try to enjoy it as much as possible and travel. If you don't feel like you have the right team, find another team, make that work. Find the place where you grow and get better. I did that later in my career when I went to Florida. Unfortunately for me, it was after all the stuff with the health. I really do wish that I would be able to pick up after that Stipe fight, but with a fully functioning heart. I'm definitely curious to see how far I would have been able to go after that fight, because I was so close to the top 5 as well, maybe even a title shot if I would have beaten Hunt. But yeah, man, just enjoy it and go for it.
That's really good advice. Marcel, I'll let you get the last word with Stefan. We've kept them for too long. So what's your last word with Stefan?
Stefan, if you have 3 people in the UFC who are in the UFC right now who you think are going to be champions, and they cannot already be, so you cannot say like Zhang Weili, because she's a champion, she maybe can beat Valentina, but I mean, I want to have 2 guys and 1 girl who you think is going to be champion who are not champions yet.
Well, she's not in the UFC right now, but Dakota Ditcheva is going to be a champion in the UFC, I think. I was lucky to do PFL Europe season, the first season when she fought there, and she was just so much ahead of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she fights and the weapons she has, she's going to be a superstar in the UFC one day, I think. And she already is with PFL, but she's got it all. She is phenomenal. Who else? Gotta think about this one sec.
Marcel, you put the guy on the spot, man.
That's okay.
Yeah, you should have given me a little bit of a hint before, man. Like,
what about from Levels Fight League? Just give us a couple guys from
Yeah.
Levels. Yeah, that's a good. I'd say that. Like Louis, you like obviously.
yeah, I'm not sure. Especially with Tom being around, it's
Yeah, that's a tough fight.
it's a different level, and but he's a lot of fun to watch. I'm not sure if like we have someone right now who can become a champ in the UFC from LFL, but we do have Jarno Aarons who's fighting. Who fought in the UFC, who I think should still be.
We've talked about this. He got caught a little bit early, we thought.
Yeah, and I think, especially when you look at his fights, I talk about this during the LFL broadcast whenever he fights. He's won 1 fight and he's lost 3, but two of those losses could have easily been wins. The only reason he lost those fights is because he made a couple stupid decisions. But if you look at the way those fights went, he could have easily beaten those guys. So he's a lot of fun to watch. I don't think he has the potential to become a UFC champion, but there's those divisions are full of killers. You know what I mean? Like it's insane to watch those divisions. But hey, man, let's go RDR.
I mean, hell yeah, right? Like he's got as good of a chance to win a belt for Netherlands as anyone, right? I would think.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that with his style, I think he's got the biggest chance against Chimaev, because you are gonna get taken down. It's simple as that. So you need to be able to work off your back, which he can. And not only is he really good on the ground, he's sneaky. You can surprise him. Also, when Hamza takes him down, and when he takes his back, the way he likes to grapple, of course, he's going to be able to lock a wrist, lock an elbow, and move himself into a position where he can surprise him. He can tire him out. He's got good cardio, and he's dangerous on the feet now. Although he's still vulnerable on the feet with overhands and stuff like that. His knees and his long punches, although they're sloppy, they're powerful, and he's become dangerous on the feet. Dangerous but vulnerable. So I definitely think that that he has what it takes to be maybe become a champ. But definitely want to see that fight.
All right, last question. Marcel and I have talked about this a little bit off air. We've talked about our heavyweight GOAT, and we say it's Fedor still. Is it Fedor for you, or is it someone else?
Yeah, but like it's so difficult because we've had a bunch of different eras. Back in the day, it was Fedor. It is very simple for me, but like it was Fedor. Then it was probably Kane. at when he was at his best. Unfortunately, we didn't see enough of him. Like,
Yep.
I really wish that he would have been able to defend his belt more and more.
Mhm.
And but it's definitely where it started for me, Fedor and Big Knock, two legends. But it's fun to see the heavyweights because Fedor was such a small heavyweight. Nogueira wasn't much bigger. Now these guys are absolute monsters, man. When you see Tom, geez, he's big. And Ngannou, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I
Holy
know.
shit.
Just huge, muscular, powerful.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's wild. Stefan, man, dude, we had so much fun with you. Thanks so much for coming on and spending some time
Of
with us,
course.
man. Thanks so much. Where can people find you? Like, you're pretty active on social media, I would think, these days, right?
I try to, yeah. I didn't do a lot of events lately, but I got a lot of stuff coming up. I was actually watching Ankalaev and Pereira because I'm doing breakdown for the Dutch crowd next week. They'll be online soon, and it's I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, so people will be able to find me.
Anything else you want to add, Marcel, before we get out of here?
No, I just want to thank Stefan for coming up on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And like I said, man, in my opinion, one of the best analysts in Dutch MMA. Fighter went to being an analyst. Great, and yeah, I'm always. It's always fun to talk to Stefan, and I'm really happy he came on. So thanks so much for that.
Of course, no problem, guys. Thank you guys for having me on.